Picture this, a tranquil scene where the only sound is your breathing. Each inhale, each exhale, a gentle but vital rhythm that we often take for granted. It's so automatic, so constant that we scarcely give it a second thought. But what if I told you that this simple act of breathing holds a secret, a key to understanding our mind and our place in the world? In the grand tapestry of existence, breath is the thread that weaves life together. It's our first act when we come into the world and our last when we leave it. It's a silent companion that accompanies us through every moment of our lives. Now let's pause for a moment and consider this from Buddha's perspective. For Buddha, breath wasn't just a biological necessity. It was a life force, an active participant in the dance of existence. He saw breath as the bridge that connects body and mind, the tangible and the intangible, the known and the unknown. It is through breath that we engage with the world, and it is through breath that the world engages with us. But why is this important? Why should we care about this seemingly mundane act? The answer lies in awareness. When we bring awareness to our breath, we're not just observing a physiological process, we're tuning into a live broadcast from our body, a continuous stream of information about our physical and emotional state. And as we'll see in the coming scenes, this awareness can be a powerful tool for transformation. So let's take a moment now to simply notice our breath, without trying to change anything, just observe. Notice the cool air entering your nostrils, the gentle rise and fall of your chest, the rhythm of life flowing through you. And as you do, consider this: what happens when we start to pay attention to our breath? What might we discover about ourselves and the world around us? This, dear friends, is the enigma of breath. The mind, much like the wind, can't be seen, but its effects are felt. In Buddha's teachings, the mind is often compared to a wild elephant. It's powerful, untamed, and can cause a lot of damage if left unchecked. The untrained mind is restless, always on the move, bouncing from one thought to another, trapped in a cycle of past regrets and future anxieties. Now, let's imagine we could tame this wild elephant, guiding it gently instead of letting it run amok. This is what Buddha referred to as the trained mind, a mind that is calm, focused, and fully present in the here and now. It's not that the trained mind doesn't think. Rather, it chooses its thoughts wisely, like an archer selecting his arrows. So how do we transition from an untrained mind to a trained one? Is there a secret switch that we can flip to quiet the constant chatter in our heads? Buddha proposed a surprisingly simple yet profound method: paying attention to our breath. Breath, in its simplicity, serves as an anchor for the wandering mind. Each inhale brings us back to the present moment, and each exhale helps us let go of distracting thoughts. As we focus on the rhythm of our breath, the mind gradually settles down, like a lake becoming still after a storm. But here's an intriguing question. If the mind is like the wind, invisible yet powerful, and the breath is like the string that tames the wild elephant, what happens when we consciously connect the two? How does the act of breathing, something we do every second of our lives without even thinking about it, influence the state of our minds? Ever wondered how breath can influence the mind? Well, let's take a moment to ponder on this, as we prepare to delve deeper into the fascinating journey of breath and mind in the teachings of Buddha. Breath, the constant companion, is a potent tool for mindfulness. This was a central tenet in Buddha's teachings. But how does breath become a tool for mindfulness? To answer that, we need to explore the practice of anapanasati. Anapanasati, a word from the ancient Pali language, translates to mindfulness of breathing. It's a practice that Buddha himself used and advocated for. It's simple in theory, yet profound in its impact. It's about focusing your attention solely on the natural act of breathing. As you inhale, be aware that you're inhaling. As you exhale, be aware that you're exhaling. It's not about controlling the breath, but about observing it, being present with it. But why the breath? Why not something else? Well, the breath is always with us, it's a part of us, yet it's also constantly changing. It's a bridge between the conscious and the unconscious, the physical and the mental. By focusing on the breath, we are grounding ourselves in the present moment, in the here and now. And what happens when we ground ourselves in the present moment? We start to notice things. We become aware of the chatter in our minds, the constant thoughts and feelings that are always there. but often go unnoticed. This awareness is the first step towards understanding and eventually training our minds. When we practice mindfulness of breathing, we're not just observing the breath, but also the effect it has on our minds. We start to notice how our minds calm down, how our thoughts become less chaotic. We start to experience a sense of inner peace and clarity. It's like turning down the volume on a noisy radio, allowing us to hear the subtle music that was always playing in the background. So, the next time you're feeling stressed or overwhelmed, remember the power of your breath. Remember anapanasati. It doesn't require any special tools or environment. All it requires is your attention and your breath. Pause for a moment, notice your breath. Do you feel different? Science often confirms what ancient wisdom has long known. This statement rings particularly true when exploring the breath-mind connection. Modern research has begun to catch up with Buddha's teachings, providing fascinating insights into how our breathing influences our mental state. The first thing to note is the impact of our breathing on our psychological well-being. Rapid, shallow breathing, often associated with stress and anxiety, can trigger our body's fight or flight response. On the other hand, slow, deep breathing can activate our rest and digest system, reducing stress and promoting relaxation. This shows how our breathing can directly influence our emotional state. This isn't just a psychological phenomenon, though. There's a biological connection, too. When we breathe in a slow and controlled manner, we stimulate the vagus nerve, one of the longest nerves in the body. This nerve plays a crucial role in our body's parasympathetic nervous system, the system responsible for calming the body down. It lowers our heart rate and blood pressure, helping us to feel more calm and relaxed. But the story doesn't end here. The vagus nerve also has a direct connection to our brain. It sends signals to the brain about the body's state of calm or stress. Therefore, by controlling our breath, we can indirectly influence our brain activity, affecting our mood and mental state. This connection between breath and brain function is not just theoretical. Functional MRI scans have shown that controlled breathing can change the brain's structure over time, increasing grey matter in areas associated with attention and sensory processing. So, the next time you find your mind racing or your stress levels rising, remember the power of your breath. By simply slowing down and deepening your breath, you can activate your body's natural relaxation response, influence your brain function, and bring about a sense of calm. Ready to hear a story that brings this connection to life? Breathing is more than just a physical act, it's a spiritual journey. This journey takes us to the heart of various meditation practices that place the breath at their core. You see, the breath is not just a life-sustaining function. It's a subtle thread that weaves together the physical and the mental, the conscious and the subconscious. Buddha's teachings often highlight the breath as a focal point in meditation. He taught a practice known as anapanasati, or mindfulness of breathing. In this practice, one brings their attention to the natural flow of the breath, observing it without trying to change it. This simple act of observation can have profound effects, bringing calmness to the mind and a deeper understanding of one's own mental processes. Another practice is pranayama, an ancient yogic practice that involves controlling the breath to alter the state of mind. This practice, too, is rooted in the understanding of breath as a bridge between the body and the mind. By manipulating the breath, one can influence their mental state, promoting relaxation, concentration or energy depending on the technique used. These practices are not just about controlling the breath, but about observing it, understanding it, and ultimately mastering it. They teach us to harness the power of the breath, to bring about a state of mindfulness where we are fully present in the moment, aware of our thoughts, feelings and sensations without judgment or distraction. But why the breath? Why not focus on something else? Well, the breath is always with us. It's constant, yet ever-changing, just like life itself. It's a reflection of our inner state, speeding up when we're anxious, slowing down when we're relaxed. By observing the breath, we're actually observing ourselves, getting a glimpse into our own minds. And so, through the breath we find a path to mindfulness, a path to understanding ourselves better, a path to inner peace. In the words of Buddha, breath is the bridge which connects life to consciousness. Through meditation practices that focus on the breath, we can cross this bridge from the hustle and bustle of everyday life to a state of calm and awareness. And that, dear friends, is the power of the breath. Opening, how can this ancient wisdom be applied in our daily lives? Breath awareness is not just a concept to be meditated upon in a quiet room. It's a practical tool that can be integrated into every aspect of our existence. It's as simple as taking a moment to focus on your breath. When you're stuck in traffic or waiting in line at the grocery store, instead of allowing frustration to build up, you can choose to tune into your breath. Feel it flow in and out. Observe the rise and fall of your chest. This act of mindfulness can transform mundane moments into opportunities for peace and clarity. Imagine a world where breath awareness becomes as natural as blinking or swallowing. It's a world where stress can be diffused, not with a pill, but with a deep, conscious breath. A world where the mind can be calmed and refocused, not through distraction, but through simple awareness of our life force. There are countless stories of individuals who have experienced profound transformation through breath-mind awareness. Take, for instance, a corporate executive plagued by constant stress and anxiety. She began practicing breath awareness and, over time, noticed a remarkable shift. Her anxiety levels reduced, her focus improved, and she found herself better equipped to handle the pressures of her high-stakes job. Or consider the story of a war veteran dealing with post-traumatic stress disorder. Through breath awareness, he found a way to navigate his triggers and manage his symptoms. By focusing on his breath, he was able to ground himself in the present moment, providing a refuge from the haunting memories of his past. These stories are not anomalies. They are testaments to the transformative power of breath awareness, a testament to the wisdom that Buddha shared over 2,000 years ago. So as you go about your day, remember the intimate connection between your breath and your mind. Remember that with each inhale and each exhale, you have the power to cultivate peace, clarity, and mindfulness. Ending, what would you gain from practicing breath-mind awareness? It's not always a smooth sail, but the journey is worth it. Now let's discuss some common challenges in practicing breath-mind awareness. The first hurdle is often distraction. Our minds are like mischievous monkeys, leaping from branch to branch, thought to thought. This can lead to frustration, but remember, every time you gently bring your mind back to the breath, you're strengthening your mindfulness muscle. Another challenge is the expectation of immediate results. Like any skill, mindfulness takes time to develop. It's not about emptying the mind, an impossible task, but rather about becoming aware of thoughts and feelings without getting caught up in them. So be patient with yourself. Now onto some misconceptions. One common myth is that mindfulness of breathing is a way to escape from life's problems. But Buddha's teachings emphasize facing reality, not running from it. Mindfulness is not about avoiding difficulties, but about experiencing them fully, with a calm and clear mind, to better understand and address them. Another misconception is that you need to be a Buddhist or adopt particular religious beliefs to practice mindfulness of breathing. However, breath is universal. It transcends religion, culture, and language. Anyone can practice mindfulness of breathing regardless of their faith or lack thereof. Some also believe that they need to sit in a lotus position or chant mantras to practice mindfulness of breathing. While these can be beneficial, they're not essential. You can practice mindfulness of breathing anywhere, anytime, while walking, eating, or simply waiting in line. The key is to maintain awareness of the breath. Lastly, there's a misconception that mindfulness of breathing is all about relaxation. While it can indeed help reduce stress, its purpose is much deeper. It's about cultivating awareness, understanding our minds, and developing compassion and wisdom. So yes, there are challenges and misconceptions, but with understanding, patience, and practice, you can navigate through them. And remember, the essence of Buddha's teachings on breath and mind is not about achieving a certain state, but about being fully present in each moment, with each breath. What if everything you thought you knew about breath and mind was wrong? We've embarked on a journey, from understanding breath to exploring the mind. We've learned that Buddha viewed breath as a life force, a fundamental element that connects us to our existence. Our exploration of the mind revealed its nature, both in its untrained and trained states, and the profound influence of breath on its workings. We then delved into how breath serves as a tool for mindfulness, with practices such as anapanasati guiding us towards a deeper understanding of ourselves. We've seen how modern science supports these ancient teachings, linking breath and mental well-being. We've looked at how meditation practices utilize breath and how these teachings can be applied in our daily lives. We've also debunked common misconceptions and addressed challenges in practicing breath-mind awareness. Remember, each breath you take is an opportunity to connect with your mind, to live more fully, more mindfully. So breathe deeply and embrace the power of your breath.